Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. Today's been a good day for information and news about digital assets, I will tell you that. But this video I'm about to give you was something that just kind of happened organically. I had no idea when I was watching the video that I'm about to lead you to. I had no idea that at the end of it, it would all come together for me, and I would have something that I could really, I think will really make an impression on many of you out there. And then at the end, I want to show you something about, you know, when you raise kids a lot and you're giving them all the boring adult lectures, oftentimes you don't think they're hearing anything you say, and especially while they're staring at the phone while you're trying to get them to pay attention to you. But today, my son sent me something, and it let me know that all this time I've been doing something right, and he has been listening to me. First, I want to start with this. This is XRP Wave Slider at Miller Ham, and he copied me on this. He says, "Do you remember when Coinbase refused to list XRP? Well, that seems light years away already. My Coinbase Visa card arrived today in the UK. Now that's adoption, baby." And he shows a video of himself opening up his Coinbase card. And I thought this was cool. I can't wait till they have these in the United States. I would get one today if I could get one, but I can't not. Okay, moving along. If I can get that window to go, here we go. King Solomon at XRP_Al, he said, "This should make DAI happy. Starbucks plus Microsoft Azure blockchain service." And he's got two articles he's tweeting here, which I'm not going to go in detail on. They kind of speak for themselves. Starbucks supply chain tracking via blockchain, so they're incorporating that. And then this one, Microsoft blockchain as a service embraces Ripple. It's all coming together, folks. And then there's this. At Bob in Deep XRP sent me two pieces of news. The first one is a really good piece of news, and I'm going to show you that. Actually, I think I may have gotten out of line his articles that he sent me, but I'll try to remember to give him credit. That was Bob in Deep, if I forget to bring his name back up. Major Austrian bank Raiffeisen joins R3 Corda-powered global trade finance network. This is big right here. This bank international has announced it will pilot R3's Marco Polo blockchain network for trade finance, according to a press release shared by Cointelegraph. I wanted to mention just one thing real quick that I may not have mentioned before. With regard to XRP and Ripple, or with regard to XRP, there's two things. What I talk about more than anything in terms of the price eventually going up, more than anything, I talk about the markets themselves and the fact that Wall Street's coming and how I believe these markets are going to be huge and digital assets will be a new asset class. What I talk about a lot less is use case, which is a new thing. Well, I believe, I just wanted to mention this for what it's worth. I believe that the use case of XRP will probably dwarf what happens as a result of markets. And I think really big things are going to happen as a result of markets. But just to try to reiterate this, SBI Holdings owns 10.5% of Ripple. They partnered with SBI Holdings. SBI Holdings also owns a portion of R3. I think it's just a portion. I don't think they own the whole thing. I believe when the history books are written on XRP utility, I believe the combination of SBI, Ripple, and R3 will be the three things that are kind of like those that the Avengers Endgame movies out right now. I haven't seen it yet, but Thanos has his little glove, and it's got all of the different stones or whatever in it. I believe that these three, R3, Ripple, and SBI, will ultimately be the three stones, the three pillars of what creates the most massive utility of any digital asset ever created. When the history books are written, that is where the big punch will come. Okay, moving along. This is from XRP Jake, at Jake 640-35-920, and he sent this. Now, this is a commercial. I showed you the commercial. It's a Western Union commercial, but it just it kind of hit me when I saw it in someone's living room. You can see the tokens. They actually have tokens moving in the video. He says Western Union commercial. It's talking about Western Union, how Western Union is going to allow you to send money cross borders within seconds. That's what XRP does. And he copied me on this. But in that commercial that we covered, it just kind of hit home, no pun intended, when I saw this being a commercial watched in someone's home. Because Western Union is in the game, and they've literally in this commercial got tokens flying through the air when they're trying to illustrate the movement of money around the world. Okay, and next this is from Savvy XRP. Yes, at Savvy XRP _. And this kind of speaks for itself. We've talked in the past about how Visa had competed with MasterCard to try to buy Earthport. Well, Visa has completed the acquisition of UK-based Earthport, who is a Ripple partner, providing an entree for card scheme into the $80 trillion account-to-account payments market. And that is big news, folks. While I'm on this and looking at this, my 6-year-old yesterday held up $1, and I showed y'all a picture not too long ago that he had drawn a picture. I told him to draw a picture of XRP. I don't know where he heard it or where in the world he got this idea, but he's drawn a picture having to do with XRP, and I think he had a rocket ship or something, and he had Illuminati. He tried to spell out Illuminati. This is a 6-year-old. Then he holds up $1 bill yesterday to me, and he goes, "Dad, see, look, that's the Illuminati," and he's looking at this eye and the pyramid and all. I was like, wow, I don't even talk. That's not even something that I talk about around here. I'm still baffled as to where he got that. Okay, token analyst. Now, this is interesting. We took a quick look at the Binance hack, and we have identified hacker-owned wallets, green, that are holding 5,846 Bitcoin, 34 million, is that $34 million worth, of 7,000 Bitcoin that was stolen. This BTC has not moved since the hack. And this is just amazing that they're able to show you, actually track how these hacks work and where the money goes. He said it says Binance has shut down withdrawals and only 0.37 BTC left Binance in the past 24 hours. This gives us reassurance that there are no after effects from the hack, and customer funds are in fact safe. Excuse me. Takeaway, hacks happen, but the transparent nature of the blockchain makes it easier to catch bad actors. We are keeping a close eye on these funds. We'll notify the community if we see anything significant. Binance has also shut down deposits. How is this going to impact trading on Binance? Respond with your thoughts below. I do want to make one point here, folks, and that is, even though Binance is being transparent, that they are shutting down withdrawals and deposits, and so your digital assets are not yours if you do not have them, the private keys in your possession, that we've been saying it all along. So, as I always tell you, go in the description of any of my videos and get a Ledger Nano S to store your digital assets, because it doesn't matter how reputable the exchange is. It can be hacked. If someone can create an exchange, someone can hack an exchange. It's as simple as that, folks. Okay. And next, this I think was also from Bob and Deep. I just wanted to show you this briefly. Bond King Jeffrey Gunlat says the national debt is totally out of control. He's flagging risks in the rising U.S. deficit. People are starting to realize that the deficit and debt are totally out of control. They are. The digital asset investor realized it in 2007 when you guys bailed out banks. I realized that it was out of control. But it's not, all of it is nothing more than a mirage and a scheme, a Ponzi scheme at this point, folks. And that is what I'm about to show you. I'm about to show you something that's going to be a real eye-opener, especially for a lot of you young people. But this guy says, sometimes known as the bond king, also flagged trouble in the corporate bond market, which got dragged down in the economic mess that we're in. The corporate bond market is so much worse today than it was in 2006, he said. The economy is in such bad shape to withstand a downturn again. The national debt is exploding while we're having some of the best GDP year over year that we've had in recent years. Well, you're only having this because of the inflated everything, folks. And then he says the economy's not in any kind of condition for government to come to the rescue other than really wickedly extraordinary policies a la the European Central Bank and the Bank of Japan. In other words, printing money, bail-ins, bailouts, QE, this, and this. Meanwhile, you and I, the ones that have our digital assets on Ledger Nano S's, are safe from all of their garbage and theft of the people's money. Period. All right, now open your eyes, folks. I'm about to show you something that is really, really important and significant. And don't forget what I'm about to show you, because it is a monster. This is what you are about to see unfold. Got this this first thing from Brian Melancholy XRP at Mike Honcho _11. Okay, what he sent was, and we talked about this last week, and then I'm going to tie this together for you. Barry Silbert gives Fox Business Maria Bartiromo sales pitch on Bitcoin. So remember, Barry Silbert did the drop gold campaign, and he thinks that Bitcoin should replace gold as a store of value. Well, I think that Barry Silbert is looking at a much bigger picture than just wanting gold to replace, or wanting Bitcoin to replace gold. I think he knows history, and I'm about to show you history, and I'm going to open a lot of your eyes, and you're not going to believe what you're about to see, many of you. Okay, but first, let's go over kind of what he said to Maria Bartiromo. Bitcoin is the younger generation's version of gold. It has all the same characteristics as gold. It's scarce, divisible, portable, but it actually has real utility. The Bitcoin community is creating an entire new payments and financial rail network that I think is going to transform the financial markets, said Silbert. And then he goes Bartiromo points out that Grayscale Investments is looking to challenge a $1 trillion institution, encouraging people to drop gold from their portfolios in favor of Bitcoin. But why? This is from Silbert, there's $8 trillion of gold held today. What's interesting is that the younger generation of investors, the people who have not yet allocated it to gold, don't view gold as the same way as our parents and grandparents did. We grew up after the gold standard, so the biggest buyers of gold right now are central banks, said Silbert. Okay, and then finally, meanwhile, Main Street adoption of Bitcoin is ramping up, including this. And then Silbert says this. You see what Facebook is doing? You see what Square is doing? You see what Fidelity is doing? Even the New York Stock Exchange. They're all getting involved in creating infrastructure to support this new ecosystem. Even Jamie Dimon, who hates Bitcoin, is launching the JP Morgan coin, Silbert said. Okay, now I wanted to read this last part to you. Instead, they discussed where Bitcoin will be in 2 decades, in response to which Silbert stated, it's going to displace gold as the store of value investment that goes into portfolios. But really, more importantly, there's amazing innovation that's happening right now. Thousands of companies have been funded. $5 billion have been raised into companies over the past 5 years that are building infrastructure to make it really, really easy to get on and off of the cryptocurrency superhighway. And once you have access to digital money, the sky's the limit. And so they're showing you his drop gold campaign, Okay, after Mike, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Mike, I say it all the time, Mike Honcho. But anyway, after he sent me this article, I was looking for other things that I was going to talk to you about today. I think that a lot of times things happen for a reason, and this happened for a reason. I follow at Gold Telegraph _, and you should too. Now, these are gold people, and that's fine because they just showed the digital asset investor something that I'm going to blow your mind with. Okay, so what it's showing here is, and many of you out there don't know this, April 5th, 1973 US dollar devaluation news. American citizens were told they would be allowed to own gold bullion again. Until this day, folks, from about 1930 something until April 5th, 2073, it was illegal for you in the United States to own gold bullion. Now, why on God's green earth would that be? Why on earth would the government make it illegal to own something? Is it going to hurt me? I mean, because everything the government does, they say, is to protect the citizens. Is my having gold, owning gold, holding it in my hand, going to physically hurt me? Of course not. And so why would they do such a thing? And the only answer that there is because us, the public, owning gold hurts the government's ability to control the money. It's as simple as that. It is not in our best interest to not be able to own gold. Gold is called God's money for a reason. It is nothing about not owning gold is in our interest. Central banks around the world own gold for a reason. Okay? And don't think that it's a coincidence that Barry Silbert and these guys, these powerful people are starting a campaign to literally replace gold. And I believe that they will be at least halfway successful in doing so. If you look at the charts and what's appreciating versus gold, it becomes pretty obvious. But it's not just Bitcoin. It's going to be XRP, I believe, will be even bigger than Bitcoin in the end by a long shot. But all of them are going to benefit from this. And so actually we should all be on board this. But that's not what I want to show you. That's not what's so groundbreaking. Okay? I'm watching this video. What this is a video of Walter Cronkite, okay? Back then, you young people that are listening, before now you can get your news from thousands of sources. But back then, you only had Walter Cronkite, and I believe he was like the man that everybody got their news from. It was like one or two, maybe three. Then when I was a kid, there were four. You had, I think it was Peter Jennings, Dan Aykroyd, all the networks, CBS, ABC, which was four of them. You had Dan Aykroyd, Peter Jennings, I forget, I'm drawing a blank on the other two. But there was four people. When my dad got home from work, he would watch the evening news. There was no 24-hour news. That came with CNN headline news by Ted Turner. But you didn't have that. You didn't have the internet. You didn't have any of those things. And so these people were able to control everything, okay? Well, Walter Cronkite in this news report is telling his audience that as of today, April 5th, 1973, now it's legal to buy gold. Your gracious government is now going to allow you to own gold. I'm watching this video, folks, and I get to the 209 mark, and up pops this chart right here. 1973, and the word takeoff. And if you keep going with this chart, it comes out. And what this is they're showing you, look, it says gold and silver bubble 1980. They're calling it a bubble, okay? But look what happens. And now I'm going to bring this up to a bigger chart. I went and found this chart, and there's a bigger chart of it. So this 1973, this is a version of that chart. This 1973, it says takeoff, okay? The public was not allowed to buy gold during this time. And what this reminds me of, just think about all of the things that have been floated out there to scare us over the last 15 months. And since 2013 when I got into this, I mean, we didn't know. I even heard Bob Way say that the people at Ripple, the first 10 or so employees, they didn't know if today was the day that the feds were going to knock on their door and arrest them all. That's what it felt like back in 2013, even if you just owned digital assets, which at the time were called cryptocurrency and associated with such things as money laundering and all of the evil, bad things. But the truth is, those of us that saw it, we knew that there was nothing evil about it. What it felt like was financial freedom. The idea that you could own a digital asset that is not being controlled by a bank. They're not telling you how much you owe them every month as a service fee for the privilege of having a bank account. None of that. Well, look at this chart, and look at this chart closely, folks, because there's a reason that it says takeoff. This is when people were free to own gold. Well, I feel like since 2013 until now, we've all been looked at as, oh, shady, whatever, this kind of thing. We've been laughed at. We've been told that we were invested in something that was only for money laundering. Warren Buffett has told us it's rat poison and all these evil things. I'm sure they said a lot of the same type things about gold while they were telling the public you can't own it and making them feel like criminals if they did. In fact, you were a criminal if they caught you with gold while it was illegal, folks. You were a criminal. Okay, the parallels here are just too significant not to mention. And so they called it now you and I, those of us that had the guts and that knew in our gut that it was right. Now we're going to be called the smart money. That's what you're about to be called. Here's my prediction. We're not allowed to do price predictions. Well, here's my sentiment prediction. You and I will be called geniuses and the smart people and the people that bought before it was cool and the people that were willing to get laughed at. That's you and I. Now, the institutional investors, we have heard about these people coming in over the last 15 months. Since the bull market of 2017, I've been showing you articles for the last 15 months about this. We've been kind of in this right here. People have, oh yeah, this is just going to last forever. It's a bear market, and everybody's getting mad. Oh, 30 cents. It's only at 30 cents. Well, folks, I'm here to tell you that the parallels between what happened with gold and what we've been in are just too obvious not to see. Do you see this? At the height of the supposed bubble that was back in 2017, it was $830 billion. So I ask you this, with gold, there's now $8 trillion in gold, $8 trillion in gold, which is a lot more than what was here. Okay. Do you really believe that $830 or so billion in crypto was a bubble? Not even close. Not even in the ballpark of being a bubble. This is what you're going to see happen with not just Bitcoin, but with crypto. And I believe XRP and Bitcoin and probably Ethereum will be the three greatest beneficiaries of it all. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button. And tell your friends and family that until 1973, gold was illegal to own. Thank you for listening.